guys, it's time for my monthly favorites. We're going to be chatting about some hair, skin, and of course makeup that I loved throughout the month of September. And of course, stick to the end if you're curious to find out who my YouTuber and subscribers of the month are, but let's go ahead and get started. I want to chat about a foundation from Becca that I have been loving this month. In general, I try to avoid talking about foundations that I have yet to review, but I'm breaking the rules for this one. I really like it. It is their Ultimate Coverage Complexion Cream. Today I'm wearing the shade Bamboo. I've also worn the shade Cafe. Bamboo is a little more yellow. Cafe is a little bit more neutral, but this is just super full coverage. Really beautiful for film and photograph, and it also is just so long wearing, looks really good on the skin, and it's something that I've been finding myself wearing for filming, but also if I'm going to an event. You can really build it up on the skin to have quite high coverage. Of course, you can always use less if you want less coverage, but it is a quite thick foundation. I don't find it to be incredibly matte or drying on the skin. I will review it over the next couple weeks for you so that you can actually see it in action, but I did want to mention it because I do really love it, and I've just started to get into Becca's some of their more complexion products aside from their highlighters that they're very well known for, and I've really been liking it. Moving on to a brand that has taken the beauty community, the world by storm, Fenty Beauty. You might be sick of hearing about it, you may want to hear more about it. Either way, I'm going to chat about it just briefly. I have a wear test of the Foundation Truffle Matchstick along with this highlighter, which I will link to down below, but the highlighter to me was the standout of all the products that I tried. This one is in the shade Mean Money and Hustla Baby, and I like this because of its split pan. I know a lot of people always want to, or it seems like anyways, glow to the gods, be blinded, scream yas. That's not really my thing, although I do love a very intense highlight, but I also love a dimensional highlight, and sometimes I like just a little sheen to the skin, and I really get that beautifully from this pan here, which is the Mean Money shade. I think there's a lot to be said for a highlighter that gives a really nice glow to the skin without having a really intense shimmer in it. Absolutely no glitter. If you have a lot of texture on your skin, if you're new to highlight, if you have a very conservative job, if you just want to look lit from within, I think that this side can really give it to you. I also love kind of layering them, so I will use the more sheer side kind of all over my face for the general highlighting points, and then go in with more a targeted application with the more shimmery one just kind of like right here on the tip of my cheek, tip of my nose, and it just gives a really beautiful finish. I haven't tried the other ones, but this one for me has been really beautiful, and I know I saw a lot of people complaining about the fact that one of the highlights wasn't that shimmery, but I think it's really beautifully done. I have always been so intrigued by the Tarte Blush in Exposed. I feel like so many people talk about it, but it's never people who are very deep skin. But it's still one of those products that I'm like, very curious about you. My friend Aisha, who is a YouTuber, she said she used Exposed, and I have also used Exposed since my curiosity, and I do really like it. But another blush that I like even more that's in a similar vein to Exposed is this guy in Seduced. It's part of the Amazonian Clay blush line. They had a nudes line that came out, I think, and this looks like nothing. It looks like nothing in the pan, it looks like nothing in the swatch, but on the cheeks it's just a really easy blush that I have been reaching for a lot. I've been playing around with a lot of eyeshadow this month, doing a lot brighter looks, and I always am just, by the time I get done my eye makeup, I'm like, I don't want to think about my blush, or I just want a blush that I know that is going to be easy to throw on, and this is absolutely that. The Tarte blushes have great pigmentation, really good wear time, huge range of shades, so you should be able to find whatever you like, but I think that this is just so nice, and I feel like Exposed gets so much airtime, so I wanted to give a little love to Seduced because it has that same kind of very neutral finish, and if you are a little bit deeper, you may enjoy this. Earlier this month, I did a roundup of some of the brand new Essence Fall Winter 2017 items that are launching here in Canada. Some of them have already been out in the United States, and I know a bunch of them have already been around for a long time in Europe, but I will link to that video down below. One of my favorite items from that collection, and no surprise, is the Volume Stylist Curl and Hold Mascara. Essence kills it in mascaras. I say it all the time. I always have an Essence mascara in a favorites or whatever it might be, but I really love this one. It's what I'm wearing on my eyes today. I love the other one that came. There's a Volume Stylist lash extension. Really like that one too, but if I had to choose, I think I would go with this one. I mean, you can still pick both up. under $10. I have a friend who uses Lancome mascara exclusively, and she saw my Instagram post and has purchased an Essence mascara and is thinking she's going to make the jump from Lancome to Essence, so saving herself tons of money. I recommend you try it out if you have not yet jumped on the Essence mascara bandwagon. It is absolutely time. Hitch a ride. Come along. They are so good. Also, earlier this month, the Too Faced Peaches and Cream collection launched, and I will be reviewing that foundation, so hold tight. But what I have reviewed and done a 3 looks 1 palette video on is this. It is the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette, and I really like this. At a glance, and maybe overall, it may not look like the most unique palette that's out there, but I have been reaching for this palette a ton. It has everything in it that I need. I've been wearing a lot more matte looks lately, even if I just use this palette and if I'm putting a gold highlighter on my cheeks, I might put the gold highlighter on my lid. I just absolutely love the shade selection in here, and it is very friendly, we'll say, for my skin tone. I was kind of scared about some of the pastel peachy shades in there, but if you see in my video, the lightest true peach that's in there is like, it pops on my skin. It looks beautiful. It does not look chalky. I didn't use a white base. It has tons of pigment, and that to me is very unique and something that I don't have in any of my other palettes. Is a beautiful, there's actually 2 really nice lighter peachy shades that actually look good on my skin and not like a chalky mess. I love all the shades in there, although one of them is a satin, not a matte. I think it has a great selection of light shades, medium warm browns, deeper shades, rusty shades, plums, peaches. I think it is just absolutely gorgeous, and I've had some people compare it to the Modern Renaissance, and I mean, to me anyways, those are completely different palettes because this is totally matte. But yes, there are definitely comparisons. There's parallels between the two. I also had someone mention that it seemed similar to the e.l.f., what is it called? Mad for Matte 2 palette. Again, I don't think it's the same. Similar idea, but to me, those are all 3 completely different palettes. I'm a makeup junkie though, so by no means do you need to go out and buy all 3. But if you were eyeing this, I really do like it. I've been using it a ton. It has a peachy scent, so that's something to keep in mind, but the wear time of the shadows is great. Great pigmentation, not too powdery, super blendable, and yeah, it's great. I will link to my video though down below so you can see it for yourself. I've mentioned a few times more recently that I've gotten into cream highlights, cream contours, cream blushes, which is something that I never ever used to do. I don't know what's changing, but I have been finding some really great products, so I will be doing like a best cream products for oily skin video. But something that I have really been loving that is limited edition, and I want to mention if you are a Canadian subscriber, these are the Annabelle Perfect Gleam Custom Highlighter Drops. I have an Instagram video where I'm using them, so I will link to them down below so you can see them. You get this, there's this one gold shade, there's one that's more of a rose gold, and these are really nice. They're not too shimmery, they're not too liquidy, they're not intimidating to use. I find a lot of the time with cream products, not only am I scared they're not going to stay on my face, but I'm scared I'm not going to know how to put it on my face. So I just take literally a couple drops when I have my foundation on before I've set it, pat it in with my fingers. It blends out so nicely. If you want to go for kind of a more natural look, you can just powder your skin and go that way, or if you really want to amp up a highlighter, you can put this underneath the highlighter, the powder version, and that's really going to make the powder pop. But I think that these are really nice. Annabelle is a Canadian brand, which is always so nice to support. You can find Annabelle at Walmart, at Shoppers Drug Mart, at Lawton's if you're in the East Coast, Rexall, I'm pretty sure it's readily available, and I feel like it doesn't get a lot of airtime, and these are really nice. Because they are limited edition, be sure to look on a side display because you probably won't find them in the permanent one. Onto a hair mask that I've absolutely been loving that is basically empty, so you'll see in my next empties video. This is from the Pantene Gold series, and it is their repairing mask with argan oil. I have loved every single thing I've tried from the Pantene Gold series line. It is marketed towards black hair, so unfortunately they're not selling it here in Canada. The market is just not as big here for just about anything. I mean, you see that with Wet n Wild too, like we just get screwed with everything. But it is so good if you live in the States or if you have the opportunity to travel to the States. This is such a good line. I love this mask. In general, I'll leave it on overnight. I do that with any of my hair masks, and it just does such a good job. I used it last night and my hair just feels so good and moisturized. You could even use like a little bit as a treatment to put in during the day. Sometimes I'll do that and literally put my hair up in a bun fun and wear a hair mask throughout the entire day. I have no shame. You can't tell. It's not super white, but it's just really nice. And what I love about it is it's affordable. I use a lot of hair products, so sometimes I have a hard time using things like a mask that aren't going to last me a long time, because if I'm spending $40 on a hair mask, it only lasts me a month. That kind of burns a little bit. So this is super affordable, readily available if you live in the United States, and so good. Lastly, an eye cream that everybody has mentioned 100 times over and I'm a million years late to talking about, but I just tried this about a month and a half ago and I've really been liking it. It's the Kiehl's Creamy Eye Treatment with Avocado, and it's really nice. You only need a tiny, tiny little bit, and what I like about it is it leaves my eyes even the next day. It's something that I'll use at night. I don't use in the daytime. It's a little heavy for me personally with my oily skin in the day, but I'll use it at the nighttime, and I'll just put it under my eyes, tap just the tiniest bit, and it is so creamy. It's exactly what they say, but it still doesn't sit on the skin. And when I wake up the next day, this is how I kind of judge an eye cream. When I wake up the next day, if it still feels hydrated, if it feels like I put something under my skin, I'm not expecting like the cream to actually be sitting there, but if it actually feels kind of nice and soft under my eyes, that's when I feel like I'm getting results, and I definitely get that from this. On to my favorite people of the month. For my YouTuber, it is another Canadian. I will link to her down below, and her name is Sandra, and she is fabulous. I have been watching her for 5 or 6 years. She is a YouTube vet. If you really like British YouTubers, she really has that kind of vibe, but she also has oily skin, and actual oily skin. Not like, oh, I get a little dewy. Like, she's like me, really oily skin. We actually recently have, since we have disagreed on the Nars Velvet Matte Stick Foundation, it was a mess for her. I love that foundation, so it goes to show how different oily skin is, but she is fabulous and beautiful. I met her when I first moved to Toronto, actually. I was at my first ever event, and I went up to her, and I was like, hi, I watch your channel. I love you. Like, totally fangirled over her, and now we're kind of friends, which is super cool. But she's really sweet, and you will love her channel, so I will link to her down below. And each month I like to call out 2 subscribers that have either been around for a long time, they're new. Either way, I see you in the comments, I see you on Twitter, Snapchat, wherever it may be. This month, the first is Samantha. She's been a subscriber for quite a while. You have been a subscriber for quite a while, I think. Canadian, living in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Am I creepy for knowing that about you? Either way, we seem to have a lot of the same preferences on products. When I hate something, she kind of hates something, and she gives a really good recommendation, so I always look forward to your comments, Samantha. And then the second person is Charzy Parzy Puddin Pie, I think is how that goes. I didn't realize it rhymed until I said it out loud. Either way, she is also fabulous, always gives tons of feedback and always answers my questions, and we just have a really good back and forth as well. So again, I look forward to your comments, and I appreciate both of your support so much. Thank you to you for watching. If you had any really good standout favorites this month, be sure to let me know down below. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!